conservative male Republican governor, Mark Sanford, has basically called comedian Rush Limbaugh an idiot. But comedian is more interested in figuring out why women don't like him, quoting him, "I own the men, and what must I do now to own the women?" Our third story in the countdown, Limbaugh once again fails the primary test of psychological health. Can you correctly gauge how the world views you? A public policy poll found that 56% of men held a favorable view of Limbaugh, but only 37% of women feel that way. That's one of the largest gender gaps encountered by that polling organization in the past year. So Limbaugh seized on the opportunity. This takes us to the age-old question, what do women want? Not even Freud was ultimately able to answer that question, he said. So we'll have a female summit to ascertain what I must do to attract women. Save your jokes. Today, when a female caller to his so-called female summit suggested that Limbaugh seemed pompous, comedians' reaction to the constructive criticism, this pompous stuff, that criticism, irrelevant. The woman's never listened. I'm not pompous. I'm not changing that. And accused women critics of not listening enough to his show. As for Governor Sanford, who recently said, quote, anybody who wants him, meaning President Obama, to fail is an idiot, Limbaugh acknowledged this was directed at him since he repeatedly wishes aloud for the president's failure. But comedian says that Governor Sanford actually agrees with him. He just can't admit it in those words. Joining me now to revel in the fun, comedian, actress, and activist Janine Garofalo. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So then, and I'm going to see if I can do this with a straight face. What must Rush Limbaugh do to attract women?
Well, I want to say a couple things first. 37% is a shockingly high percentage of... I'm shocked by that. Secondly, this transcends gender. He is an unappealing person. The problems with Rush Limbaugh, as we were discussing during the break, it would take a neuroscientist and a behavioral psychologist to sort that out. But failing that, let's you and I discuss this.
Okay.
He is a narcissist who also struggles with self-loathing. That's clear. That's his prime mover. That's the issue. He pretends it's politics, but there's something very, very wrong with Rush Limbaugh.
Agreed.
He knows this. Most other quote-unquote Republicans and conservatives don't have self-awareness. I think he does. He really dislikes himself. And the type of people that respond to his message have a whole bunch of other problems too. But I think he's trying to get women. I think he's trying to meet somebody right now. This is a whole charade that we're going through, and then we're even giving it too much credit to discuss it. But I think he'd like to meet a nice lady right now.
Your 24 and formerly Larry Sanders Show colleague is no longer in the picture. Is that long?
Oh, Marilyn
gone?
Rice. No. I think she actually just thought it would be funny to learn more about him, and she said that he did suffer from low self-esteem. That was her impression of him. But
it seems like that's a long way to go to find that information out.
I don't think they really did go on a date or something. But see, Marilyn is too nice. That's the problem. She's very easygoing and very affable, and I think that she just wanted to be nice to him. She felt sorry for him. She's more kind than I.
We'll move it away from the personal here to this question here. As I said, your easy check your own sanity at home test is, what do people think of me? And we all get it wrong to some degree. But if you have categorized women as basically feminazis, castrators, babes, the hot, or the unattractive, those are the only groups, and you wonder perhaps why women might not be responding to you more than 37% approval. How could you get it that wrong? Or is he just making that whole part of it up too?
Well, I think he's just, like I said, throwing enough, against the wall, see what sticks. Somebody's going to respond to it. But the type of female that does like Rush is the same type of woman that falls in love with prisoners. And, you know what I mean? They like Richard Ramirez or Squeaky Fromme.
Yeah, Squeaky
is a good example. I think Charles Manson's Ava Braun, Hitler's girlfriend. That is exactly the type of woman that responds really well to Rush. And there will be some Ava Braun, Squeaky Frommes out there that will respond really well to this cattle call right now. Or to this clarion call, is that the right word he's putting out there?
He's trying to get a date.
He is trying to get a date.
That's what it boils down to. It's not about listeners.
Luckily for him, he's wealthy. You know what I mean? He's wealthy enough that he dated Campbell Brown, did he not? Or
no,
is that wrong?
I don't think so.
Some CNN woman.
Oh, no, it was Darren Kagan, the old sportscaster who worked in the mornings doing
that
news.
female?
Yes,
She had a name like that. Campbell,
Darren Kagan.
Yeah, she dated him. Yeah. So either she suffers from Stockholm Syndrome, a lot like Michael Steele, who's the black guy in the Republican Party who suffers from Stockholm Syndrome, which means you try and curry favor with the oppressor.
Yes. You talk about self-loathing.
Yes. And any female or person of color in the Republican Party is struggling with Stockholm Syndrome. That's a whole other issue. We don't have time.
Well, or back to Rush.
Let's go back to Rush Limbaugh.
And Mark Sanford. Is there some hopeful thing in here that even in code he's criticizing Limbaugh? He's saying anybody who says that the president, hopes the president fails is an idiot?
Well, if Rush were open to that kind of criticism, which I think he likes, because he, like I said, he's a narcissist. He enjoys his name being bandied about no matter what context. But Rush Limbaugh is, of course, is an idiot. That has nothing to do with what he just said. His reason for being is sort of to air out his laundry list of problems that make him an idiot. Does that make sense, or have I just started babbling now at this point? Because I get so hepped up over this.
I think I know what you mean by it, but why is he? I mean, why is he causing all of us to suffer along with him?
That's a great. Well, he's a misanthrope, right? He's a hater of humanity and also a hater of himself.
Yeah.
Now, why we all have to get dragged into this is one of the great questions. And also he brought up Freud. Freud has been debunked about his what women want thing years and years ago. He really needs to get more contemporary in his references about what women want.
Although that represents a very liberal extreme of Rush's set of references. I mean, that's the
Freud?
idea. Well, the idea that there is something to psychotherapy and that there might be some way you can improve the brain without just smoking cigars constantly.
But well, like I said, Rush Limbaugh will go to his grave unfixed. On human frailty. Let's go with human frailty.
Yeah.
It is human frailty that makes it be a conservative. You know what I mean? Whoever the person is, and this transcends gender and skin color, people that cleave unto the conservative message or to the modern day Republican Party, there is something wrong with them. That is what makes them go. Have you ever heard the phrase, the Constitution follows the flag? Wherever the American flag flies, the manifestations of the Constitution follow. Okay, wherever the jerk is, the manifestations of conservatism follow.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, John Dean wrote about this. It's not conservatism anymore. It is
not at all.
authoritarianism.
It is authoritarian message and people that follow the authoritarian message. But it is the unrestrained id. It is whatever is wrong with us. It was whatever the flaws in the human being. And I'm a narcissist that suffers with self-loathing. But I prefer to channel my issues into a much more positive direction. So I do identify with Rush on the level of narcissism and self-loathing combined. But I am a far better person than he is. And I don't say that with arrogance. I say that because it's fact. Well, it's scientific fact.
And thank goodness it is. Janine Garofalo, political activist, currently in 24. Thanks, Janine.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks for being a better person.
Thank you.